It's a sandbox. It's a soapbox. It's bandbox. Welcome to the Real Study with your hosts, MrSniDBitS.
I was pleasantly surprised.
BlackGirlMarvel.
I cried laughing. That was hilarious.
Tyler the filmmaker.
It's like so much depth. It's like nowadays it's, you got A shot, B shot.
Allthemoviethings.
There's some great wide shots in this.
Janine DeBean.
Each other. They just kind of look like they were having fun and doing their own thing.
Produced by Hyena. And me, the Real Study movie voice guy.
But this was the first time where I got to see it told in a way where I was like, oh man.
Let's go to the poster wall.
Hello and welcome to the Real Study. I am MrSniDBitS, and with me tonight we've got BlackGirlMarvel, Janine DeBean, and all the movie things. We are all here to talk about. I was thinking of a completely different person.
I'm changing my name now. I'm putting the in front of it.
I like it. We're going to be talking about a classic and a legacy sequel, if you will, Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick, the story of Pete's life, if you will. And then we will be getting to Wicked as well as Hairspray at a request of one of our old hosts, Mr. Marvelite will be joining us for Hairspray and Wicked here in the coming
I don't want
weeks.
to do it now because he's joining. No.
I'm sorry, Mr. Marvelite. I guess we're canceling. We'll do Wicked, but no Hairspray and no Mr. Marvelite, I guess.
No, sir.
I'm kidding. That said, La, it's been a little while. Let's move over to the main wall and talk to La, see how you've been, and you can talk to us about social media.
What up, y'all? So I know I've been gone for a little bit, but I was out doing some stuff. You know what I mean? But that don't mean I didn't miss and love the Real Study. I did rewatch the stuff that I missed. So how about y'all do the same thing? You know what I'm saying? If you do miss us, you miss an episode or something like that, we are on all podcast platforms. We are on all the social medias. So we're not only here on YouTube, we're on Twitch. Are we still on Twitch? I don't want to lie about that. Are we still on Twitch?
We are. Yeah, we're still
okay. We're on Twitch, like I said. No, okay. But we are on all social media. Just join us on that. You can join us on Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, YouTube. Again, just follow and watch us and get notified. And if you can, throw some money to the channel, i.e. via Twitch or anything like that, we do appreciate it. But we do appreciate you guys just tuning in and listening and just being here with us. What you can do, we appreciate that. But again, follow us on all social media platforms and vote for, rate us up, get air on the podcast. Give us a 4 or a 5 if you think we deserve it. 3 if you think we need to improve. Let us know. Write something. It all helps. It all goes back into the channel. So back to you, Mr. Smith.
I love comments. Yeah, we will take as many comments as you want. Say, hey, I like that movie. Hey, I think you guys are wrong, and that's a great movie. Or you guys are terrible. That's the best or the worst movie ever. We'll take all opinions as long as they're not disrespectful. We enjoy all opinions.
We delete disrespectful comments. Yeah.
That said, we have one piece of news that we're going to cover, and it's actually related to one of the films that's going to be discussed in the Reel Recommendations or Reel Roundup, if you will. And that is coming up. We're going to go to the Real News.
Now it's time for the Real News.
All right. And so Ryan Coogler, who, of course, had a great big movie drop this weekend, Sinners, which is, I think it's shaping up to be one of the highest grossing R-rated movies in its opening weekend. It's doing pretty darn good. He's also going to be doing an X-Files revival, and he's actually already in talks with some of the old cast to see if they'll come back and do a little something. And that's what I wanted to know. I wanted to know what you guys think of that, because this will be the second revival of the X-Files in a sense, rather than a sequel.
I'm excited.
Or a
I've never
redo.
seen it, but I'm excited. Yeah.
You've never seen any X-Files?
I've seen. I know about it, but I've never seen an episode a day in my life. So
I had a friend who was very much about X-Files. She has I have a Dawson's Creek binder. She had an X-Files binder with synopses and all that kind of stuff. So I would watch episodes with her all the time.
So cool.
Well, it's the kind of show. It's much like Supernatural in the sense that you can watch episodes without having to know the whole story. But then there's these tie-in episodes every so often, like early season, late season, sometimes mid-season, that tie a greater narrative together.
Got you. See, the way my OCD set up, I need to start from the beginning. I can't just.
That's fair.
I
But you're gonna find a bunch of Monster of the Week. Like you're gonna find a whole episode.
That's
where
cool.
nothing-
Kind of like a Buffy format,
Yeah,
kind
that's
of.
cool.
Yeah.
I mean, but that is very similar to like Supernatural in the sense that I think like the first 3 seasons was like Monster of the Week, and then they just got into this like angel demon narrative. I was like, okay,
Yeah,
not
and
doing that.
the deeper you get, the more they get into the larger narrative, and then the films go into the larger narrative as well.
Yeah.
There's 2 movies.
Whoa,
So-
there's movies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of them is wildly relevant to the 90s, and like people are talking about the Oklahoma City bombing. Like, it like one of them wraps itself around that, which is really interesting.
Interesting.
So-
Final Destination was actually written to be an X-Files episode.
Really?
I love that.
That I
I
didn't
can
know.
see that. That's very cool.
Yeah.
X-Files, I feel like, is like our Outer Limits, our Twilight Zone from our generation in a way. I liked that about it. And of
Destination,
course, Scully and Mulder.
for
like-
you know,
Yes,
good
and the
for our
will they won't
generation,
they
but, like,
aspect of their whole relationship.
I
was
know.
fun.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like X-Files is Bones without the bones. Or like Bones X-Files without the
A little
bones,
bit.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, the tension between the two.
The tension,
Yes.
the will they won't
All
they,
built
the-
up. Yeah.
Well, there's, I mean,
You know.
one of them is a hardcore, almost conspiracy theorist about all the like wild shit, aliens,
Yeah.
I mean, everything.
Bigfoot, etc.
Mhm.
All the pseudoscience and or what do they call? What do they call
Supernatural,
those?
like-
Cryptology, or no, not crypt. I think it's cryptozoologists and that kind of stuff. But then, of course, Dana Scully is a hardened doctor. She's got a doctorate, and like,
Yeah, a bit of a skeptic.
she's like
All science based.
Yeah.
Like,
give me the proof.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a great balance. So
yeah.
Anyway, I hope Kugler does great with it. Considering his filmography, I see like do whatever you want. Like,
oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. I love that he picks inspiration from a lot of things. I will say this. I won't say what, but I will say this for Snitty. He did do, what was it? Puss in Boots: The Last Wish inspired. Snitty.
Yeah.
So I'm
Wait,
just
what?
saying that to you right now. Yeah, I'm saying that to you right now.
He mentioned an element
He
of that
mentioned
film
an
inspired.
element of that
exactly.
film. An
Something
element of
from
that
Puss
film
in Boots.
inspired Snitty.
The
So I'm just
sequel,
letting you. I just want to put that in your
Wait,
brain.
X-Files or Sinners? Like,
No,
I'm
no,
confused.
Sinners.
Okay, Sinners. Okay, I was like,
Yeah.
wait, what? Okay,
bad, no.
interesting. And
Yeah,
I
I
never.
just wanna
That's the
throw that in
one
there.
Shrek thing I've never seen. Is that particular
Those Puss in Boots films.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah,
I
me
saw that
neither.
most
It's
recent
just
one.
like,
It was actually
Was
I
it
heard
good?
that one was
'Cause
really good.
everyone like was talking about it. I was like, there's no way. And I was like,
Right.
oh, okay.
Like
Yeah,
Wild
everyone-
Robot good or like
No, they're saying that it's like Toy Story 3 good is what people
Yeah,
are
like the
saying.
story of it, the
Like
animation
that's the
style,
feeling.
the villain.
Whenever I have
like,
talked to anybody about this, they've always been
It's
like
funny.
the
It
was really
reaction
good.
that they
Yeah.
give is how
Okay.
I felt about Toy Story 3. Like that's I was like, I just only way I could equate it.
I
And
like
yeah,
the
it was so
animation
crazy.
style too. It was like a little different
Yeah.
there, so they
Okay.
did their own thing. Yeah,
I'm gonna check that out.
it's gonna go
I'ma
on my
watch it
list, I
one day.
guess. I mean,
it's
a Shrek
surprising for
universe,
sure. I almost like was not
Okay.
expecting. Yeah, so
That's
Oh,
fair.
Brian,
That's
let me
fair.
ask you a question. Let me ask you a question
Yeah.
real quick, Brian, and we'll get back to the question.
yes. Mhm.
So, okay, D boy. So between Puss in Boots like the Last Wish
Yeah.
and that Acme cartoon you watched,
Oh dang.
which one shocked you more of how good it was?
Oh, probably I don't know. Probably that dude Looney Tunes one. I was not
Okay,
really
okay.
expecting that one. Yeah. Just like
Okay.
I don't know. That's a tough one actually. That's a good question.
Hmm.
But yeah, I was definitely thinking low expectations for that
Yeah.
Looney Tunes one.
Looney Tunes one?
Yeah.
Got
Sure.
you.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
totally. Yeah. But still
Yeah.
very surprised by Puss in Boots too. Like,
That's why I was like, which one? That's why I
I
had the
know.
question. So,
yeah.
All right.
Agent of Chaos over here. I'm like,
That's
let
funny.
me
Yeah.
trip him up. So,
Yeah.
okay,
Both
cool.
on my list
Good.
because the other one was on my
No,
list. for
facts,
your
'cause I gotta
review
take
from
them both
back.
out
Yeah.
too.
So-
So,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
No. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So there were a couple movies we watched this week. You know what I didn't do, and this was just rude of me. Janine, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Doing okay. I'm glad to hear that. Of course, you're wearing a shirt that you did a whole video
Yes,
about.
a
That is
relic
related to Top Gun.
from the
A
early
relic.
2000s. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Does anyone remember Miller's Outpost that then turned into Anchor Blue? Yeah, that's where
Oh
this
yeah.
shit is from.
Dang.
Love it.
I don't think
Yes,
I don't
the
think I'm on the right
crunchy
side
writing.
of the earth
Like it's
for that.
peeling off. I had to
Oh,
stitch up the
really?
holes in
Oh
the
my God.
armpits. It
Yeah,
says
we all-
Maverick on the back. It's really
Come on, Maverick.
but I didn't want to
yeah.
give it up. So I've had
Now,
it
are
in
you
a
willing-
drawer for many
I
Can
don't
you-
decades.
blame you.
Can you tell us what your handle, your Twitch handle, or your TikTok handle? What was it? Was it
My early Twitter handle,
Twitter
like in the
handle?
early days of Twitter, was Maverick9.
Come on. Yeah.
Wow.
Love it.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah,
Janine
love it.
might like Top Gun. We'll get into that. Though.
Yeah.
I don't think she does though.
You don't think so?
Yeah,
No.
maybe.
Brian,
None
how
of
you doing
that
this week?
shows
Doing
me.
pretty good. I got my Top Gun pint glass
Oh, nice.
here.
And the shirt too.
I got a Talk to Me Goose shirt. I
Talk to
may
Me
have
Goose.
another
Yeah.
shirt to whip out later. And got the Top Gun underwear. Just kidding. I don't
Nice.
have that.
Do you have the
was
Top
shitting-
Gun
We know
toupee,
Maverick.
right?
He's
yeah,
in the
Top
news.
Gun toupee,
There's no
yeah.
underwear.
So
It looks like Ice's hair, right? It's
I have a Maverick tramp stamp.
Love it.
So I'm ready to go.
it's in
Nice.
that font, right? Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Oh yeah, no,
Yes.
totally.
Yes.
Yeah. Not deviating. So doing good.
I'm glad to hear it. All right.
How are you, Snitty?
Oh, I'm here. I'm doing all right. Actually, no, I'm more up and hopeful and positive than maybe I should be, but I'm running with it. So
Okay, I
it's
love
been-
that.
It's been a good week.
Good.
Ride the
so.
wave, man. Ride the
Yes.
wave.
Yeah, and I'm trying to like spread that infection to other people. The hope infection, if you will. So maybe that's not the best way to approach hope with an infection.
Mhm.
Whatever. I hope you catch hope. I hope you do. That
The only
said, we do
parasite I'm
have,
on.
right?
You know?
We do have a bunch of movies. Let's get into ones that we all saw this week. And I know you all three got to see Sinners in theater. You're some of the reason
Mhm.
that boosted
Mhm.
up this weekend. So we're going to talk Sinners. Tell me, La, you haven't been here a while. Tell me what you thought about
Mhm.
Sinners.
I absolutely love Sinners. I love anything that Ryan Coogler does at this point. Like I'm just excited. I do have a review out. It's on my social media, so if you want to go see what I said. It's a spoiled review, I will say, folks. It is spoiled, and I do warn you in the beginning that it's spoiled before I get into it, just to protect anybody that does not want to be spoiled. But if you do want to be spoiled, go watch it. But I thought it was amazing. One of my hiccups, well, two of my hiccups, I would say. I'll just get this out the way. One of my hiccups is with as good as technology is right now. Just once in the film, the CGI between the two Michael B. Jordan was just a little off to me. And it's more so like shading. I don't think they got the shading right sometimes with them being near each other.
That's
but
funny. I had a different thing, but there's something
Yeah.
I noticed too. Yeah.
It was just
Yeah.
it was like, because there is a scene where they're like next to each other, passing something to each other, and
Yeah.
that just looked very off.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah. I just saw him
That
talking about how difficult it was to
yeah, I
film
know,
that.
I bet it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah,
But
it
they
was the
should have
hardest
talked
thing
to
to shoot.
they should have talked to the people who did Parent Trap with Lindsay Lohan. That's
Well,
that's
they used
phenomenal.
they used a twin kind of stand-in person for a
Yeah,
lot of
I
it.
noticed.
Yeah.
I noticed, like, when he hugged him, I was like, that's not the back of Michael B. Jordan's head. But I that didn't take me out of it at all, because it's like, I know that's
No,
what
totally.
like,
Yeah.
like you need to do.
Yeah.
So that was a little off to me, and this is nothing against Haley Steinfeld, and I say this in my interview too. This is nothing against Haley Steinfeld, but I know that they picked her for aesthetics. Janine knows about this because she watched my video. Like, I know that they picked her for aesthetics, but it's just, there's a lot of biracial, like actual biracial people that probably could have stepped into that and just made it a little bit more authentic. Again, this ain't got nothing to do with Haley. I love her. She's a phenomenal actress. She killed this role. I like seeing her in more grown-up things. But I just felt like it needs to be mentioned, because anytime a Black person does something when it's originally white or whatever, people love to mention it. I just felt like this needs to be mentioned. So, and because I know nobody's going to mention it. I know nobody really cares and nobody's going to mention it because it's the reverse. But anyway, great film. I thought it was cinematically beautiful. Like, the way the like colors and shading and like, like, it was just kind of amazing. They did like a like a tracking shot that was just like, is it gonna stop or is it gonna keep going? It was quite beautiful. Like there was so many like movie things, like plot aside, acting aside, there was so many like beautiful movie things in here that I don't think I've seen in a lot of films. In the past, I'll say like past like 5 years really in my book, because it's like it was just beautiful how it was shot, how it was acted. Like everybody was like cast to perfection. The story itself is amazing. I will say shout out to the actor Miles. I believe I don't know how you pronounce his last name.
Caton,
I think
Caton.
Is it Caton?
I think I looked it up. It was Caton. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because I was saying Caton too, but I was like, I don't know if that's right or wrong.
Yeah.
But Miles Caton, I think he is a breakout. He just like
the singer her. She put him up. She told him about the audition.
Yeah, I heard about that.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
I love that. Yeah. And his voice is amazing because when you look him up, he's titled as a singer. So this is like his debut. Yeah, so like he does sing, and his voice is amazing. It's beautiful. His voice is so deep, by the way, too. I was like, gosh darn.
He looks like a kid.
And he looks like a child. Like
he does.
Like a child. And he's just like, hey, and I'm just like, girl, stop this, sir. But I thought it was amazing. I just think it has so many layers. All I can say is amazing because I can't really say anything without kind of ruining the film, but then ruin it in a way that doesn't do it justice. Oh, okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Haley,
it's just a really well crafted film all around. Like
tell us
it
what
is
you
a
think,
well crafted. But yeah, but Batsy, I'll talk to you about this after. I got you.
Oh, Brian, what did you think of it?
Yeah, no, like I went into this relatively blind. I think I only saw like the first trailer that was, not the teaser, but also like the full trailer that was released, and that was it. I didn't go in with any other things. Just knew Ryan was involved, And then I found out later that Autumn Arkapaw had shot it, which that's one of the reasons why it's so gorgeous, because she's worked with Ryan previously on Wakanda Forever, and then she also shot Loki. So it's like, I mean, it's a phenomenal film, and actually she like kind of set a standard. She was like the first woman cinematographer to shoot this format, I believe is what it was. So because they shot 65 on this film.
Cool.
Yeah. So Chef, I mean, there's shots of her shouldering a big ass IMAX camera, just like handheld rig, like with and she's a tiny person, so it looks massive on her, so she's out there doing her thing. That's one of the things too that Ryan's consistently done. He's like, I think every single film he's worked on, he's had a woman DP on there, which is kind of crazy. So even with Fruitvale Station, but it's like, I've heard some people talk about this as like it's like 3 movies in one, which it kind of is. There's like there's a lot to this film. I mean, you'd have to it's one of those films that you go home and you start digging into. You start digging about like what's the inspiration for this? It's not just like this vampire thing. Although like the thing is like he does stick to a lot of the like traditional vampire
traditional
things.
Lore, and I saw a lot of other vampire films in this film as well.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Yeah.
Oh, that's me.
No, totally. And just like
getting like near dark vibes was like
out to
me. Yeah.
And this whole like idea of like community, like the vampires, like we're trying to create community, or at least like Jack O'Connell, is that his name? Jack O'Connell, the actor. And he like had all that like Irish jig stuff. Like there's interviews of him saying he's like done that. He's been doing that since he was a kid.
Yeah.
So he like threw that in there.
They teach them and like they take classes and stuff. Like, when they're kids.
So
I bet that felt good for him to be on screen doing that.
He said it was like an ace up his sleeve. He didn't tell them that he could do that yet until like they needed it.
I love that.
Yeah. But
in this photo, he looks a lot like Anton Yelchin, weirdly.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. But I mean, and like La mentioned, the cast is excellent. I mean, you got a lot of kind of Marvel alums in it too. Also, I don't hear enough people talk about Delroy Lindo. He's
amazing.
So I mean, God
well,
damn.
they did in his prime, but not so much now. They just like, yeah, he's a good black actor. He's good.
I know, but man, he's so good. He's good in every every single thing he's in.
Anything he touches, man. He's so good.
Amazing. He's so amazing. And in this, he kind of like, I don't know, he kind of represents something more as well as just like like I said, there's just so much depth in this film for like a vampire film too. Like it's not just
it's like they use the genre as a vessel to tell a bigger story, which I like.
Absolutely.
Does it bite really deep, this movie?
You know what? We miss you, Tyler.
I guess we're done.
We miss you, Tyler.
Janine, what did you want to say?
I explained this movie as a coming of age story with vampire. How I explained it.
I mean, there is that. There's a coming of age element.
Brother stories of very like the Lost Boys. Like I was getting just so many little, and I don't even know. I really don't know like which things it like inherently influenced Ryan Coogler. Like there are a few things I've heard him say, but like I was getting so many things that I don't know that are specifically connected, but I was able to make that connection, which then just leads to this layered thing of, you know, the influence on films, on other films, and this generational connection of like, you know, how people are influenced by other things, which we get in the film itself is giving that message of kind of influence and connection and, you know, past and future and all these really great things. So I loved the layers of all of that. I just loved kind of the inspiration of what he was trying to say with this movie. I think everyone gave incredible performances.
Absolutely.
I think Michael B. Jordan did a really good job of making the twins feel like two different people. And like
still bonded, but still the same, similar but different. Like it was pretty deep. It was pretty great acting from him, especially when people say that he can't act. I've heard a lot of
people say he can't
and I'm just
act.
like, I hear a lot of people say that Michael B. Jordan can't act, and I'm just like, stop watching his movie.
Are we watching the same person?
Just stop watching his movie. And I feel like this movie was like a shut up to people to be like, listen, I know how to act, man.
And I saw an interviewer ask a really great question to Delroy Lindo about like how does he feel being a part of this very small subgenre of Black vampire films directed by Black directors, because this is literally only the fourth film that's been like that. So just to kind of think about that, I think it's really cool that he was able to give this very populous, you know, known genre of a vampire film and kind of craft this deeper story, this deeper narrative within it. So
it was filled with a lot. It was filled with like pretty much every emotion you could probably think of. This film kind of has it.
Yes, like and Lou Wigg's music as usual.
Oh my god, yeah. I yelled out at the end.
It's very layered. Yes, there's so many layers to the music.
At the beginning when I saw his name,
themes.
I yelled out in the theater.
No, his wagon will be hitched to Ryan for the rest of their careers. He was even an executive producer on it as well. I saw his wife's name as a producer. Both of their wives.
I saw that too. I was like, they hated me in the theater. They hated me.
Yeah, so I saw it for the second time this morning.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I saw it in VIP, which is like a $30 ticket. So to be at a 10:45 showing for a theater that's like $30 a ticket, and there were at least 15 people in there, I think that says something.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And please do stay. There is a mid-credits and an end credits. So.
And an end credits scene, So it's both. It's two of those.
Be prepared. Stay for the credits anyway, guys. Just because you should anyway.
Honestly, I feel like for everything. I'll say this though, whatever it costs on digital, I'm gonna pay for it. Whatever it costs on digital, the moment it drops. And I don't do that. I'll wait until your joint goes down to $5.99. You understand me? I will wait. I don't have a problem. But with this one, I want it immediately when it comes out. I want to see all the behind the scenes stuff.
We bought Wicked right away when it hit. Or wait, was it Wicked? No, maybe.
No, I'm gonna need that.
No, one of them. Yeah, we do that with some movies. I almost did it with Brave New World, but then the ratings are just. I don't think they justify $30. 20 maybe 15 somewhere in there. I still want to give them my money, but like I don't know if I can.
I respect that absolutely.
$30 for the
that's
one that
fair.
like is being
Mhm.
dogged pretty
Right.
darn
That's how I
hard.
feel about Wicked. I'll pay $5.99 easy. You know what I mean?
I
Just
think
get the
Wicked's worth
strap.
$20, but that's me.
I'm cool. I'm all right.
I get you. All right, Janine, you got to see The Accountant 2, which
I'm
we've never spoken about The
Yeah.
Accountant on this
Yeah, they were.
show, which you should watch. Like everybody should watch The Accountant, absolutely. And then what
Yes,
did you
that
think of this one?
movie was a really great surprise. The first
Right.
Accountant film, because I loved Gavin O'Connor. I loved Warrior. So kind of going into this film, I knew, okay, I think this might be interesting. And then I was really surprised at how much I liked it. So in going to this sequel, they had early access screenings and it was in 40x, so that was kind of fun.
Yeah,
But I was really surprised that this film leaned a lot into the comedy. Like it was kind of funny, the dynamic between Ben Affleck and John Bernthal. We kind of got a little bit of their relationship just at the very end of the first film.
Is there comedy in the first one?
Like, there is some comedy, but it's
and
not.
even kind of when they kind of get together at the end of the film and he's kind of talking about you know how much he misses him and that whole kind of thing, that kind of bleeds into this film. John Bernthal's really still kind of feeling a little bit hurt about the relationship and how, you know, Ben Affleck hasn't reached out as much as he has and this whole kind of thing. And, you know, when they are together, obviously they're different demeanors, play off each other in a really fun way. And so we get a lot of comedic scenes there. We get to see kind of more of Ben Affleck's characters like day to day and how he kind of lives his life, you know, kind of being someone who's on the spectrum. And they actually really highlight characters that are on the spectrum. And there's the whole big plot about that in the film, which I really appreciated. I think it all plays into like how he does what he does is kind of having a network of people like him. And like they really kind of pass along this message, like, you know, people kind of call him weird and he is very much like, I'm not weird, I'm just me kind of thing. So I liked kind of, you know, putting that forth. The action wasn't as heavy as I thought it would be. There wasn't a ton of it. Like in the first film, it was more character focused, which I liked. There are some really fun scenes that I found myself like really just getting hyped about, where we see Ben Affleck's character kind of step out of his comfort zone. Like, you know, he sees a girl that he wants to talk to, and so he like makes an effort to talk to her.
Nice.
Oh man.
And those kinds of things. So those moments you're like, you feel yourself like cheering on the character. So I liked having kind of fun moments like that in the film. So it was really more character focused. Our kind of story or kind of mission that we're following, it's a little kind of meandering, it's a little kind of confusing. You're able to follow it, but I think it's just a little like too much going on, too many like layers and steps of this person is this and we got to follow them there and they have this background and this kind of thing. So there's a lot of elements to the like mission that we're kind of trying to solve and figure out. But I appreciated kind of the surprise of it leaning into the comedy. The dynamic between Ben Affleck and John Bernthal was great, and just the really great character moments that we got.
I would say, at least from my viewing of The Accountant, that these are almost in the vein of more like Lethal Weapon rather than Equalizer, where they're like comedy mixed with action, but there's still some seriousness to it.
Yeah, because there's like a
serious topic. And this is doing that with autism, which I think is wonderful. The first movie, like, not only was I like, whoa, this is like interesting and compelling, and also like, wow, some wild action I didn't expect, but it also like got to me. I was just like, wow, this is like deep and real. So if they did even half of that with the second one, it would be worth it.
But I'm happy his character is being expanded upon. I'm happy that, like, because it sets up in the first one that he has a slight network, but to see this kind of like expand on that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely expanded.
I love that, like, to expand on that, because like that was, to me, the action in the first one was great because like you kind of didn't expect it. But I love the characters, like the action didn't, like, I wasn't there for the action. Like even when I rewatch it, I'm not rewatching it for the action really.
Right.
Yeah, I love like the characters. I love this world that they created. So I'm happy to watch the second one to see where that goes.
The only thing that I get the sense of though is that Ben Affleck watched his friend Matt make a bunch of like spy movies, and he was like, man, I want to do that. I gotta find a way to do that. So he's like, I'm gonna take Good Will Hunting and blend it with Bourne Identity, and that's the accountant.
Yeah.
I
Like,
mean,
it is.
kind
It
of.
totally
Yeah.
is. So,
But I'm
which
happy.
is
But like
great. It
Yeah.
works.
but I like that he. But here's the no offense to Ben Affleck. Well, no, me saying that it's gonna be offensive. But because I know
As
it
soon as you
is.
say no offense to, yeah, that's
Yeah,
pretty
no
much
you know
offense,
lays
it.
it out.
You
Yeah.
know, but it's
With
going
all
to
due
sound
respect.
offensive. With all due respect. However,
Yeah.
you know, he only hits in a certain pocket for me personally, and I'm speaking for me personally. Ben Affleck
Mhm.
hits in a certain pocket. So this character not having emotions or having to show emotion is like the perfect character for him because he plays that so well. Not to say that he doesn't have like emotions and other things, but I personally have seen in other films where he tries to get emotional and it doesn't hit for me. But when he's like a douchebag or he's very like stoic, he's knocking it out the park to me. But that's what I've
The
noticed.
back of a Volkswagen. Sorry.
Sir.
All right. So I also saw a movie that I want to talk about because we do have two movies that we are absolutely going to get into, and it sounds like we're going to have a bit of a back and forth, which we'll get into. So I finally got to see Monkey Man, which I was waiting to see, mostly because I don't know why. Most of the times it's just a feeling like, do I want to watch this right now? Yes or no? And I put it on. This, I think, is what John Wick wished it could be. Like, don't get me wrong. I think the action in John Wick is exceptional. I think that Keanu Reeves and the stunt team do a fantastic job. But I feel like that's what those movies are. They're just action and stunts for most of the film. This has a lot of heart. It has a lot of substance and deeper meaning through culture. And it like hit me really hard. This idea of him trying to figure out who he wanted to be and who he needed to be. It uplifts marginalized communities. It talks about the trans community, and that those are his allies. And he goes on a revengeful tirade, which I love. This showed me Dev Patel is one of the better directors in Hollywood, and he's just getting started. Like if he keeps making movies like this is exceptional. And I like that it was definitely based in India, filmed in India. But I feel like it's a Hollywood production. So instead of it being what could have been a Bollywood production, he quite literally made it for Hollywood and release everywhere, but here as well, which I think is great because it's spreading the culture around. And then he did get a bunch of Bollywood stars to play in it, and they are exceptional. Like this is so like it gets a 7 or 8, and I gave this a 10. Like this movie
considering all the
really
struggles he had as well making it. Like I think a lot of it's like filmed on a phone and like really had to kind of do a lot of
he
kind
hurt
of
himself.
filmmaking things.
Like,
to get this made.
But it's drawn out in such a way that like by the time you get to where he's doing the badass things, you're like, oh yeah, no, I can see how he gets to this level. So the over the top doesn't bother me. I'm just like, yeah, if you're that angry and you're that focused, I think you could do that to someone. I don't know. I doubt there are people that haven't seen it, but if you haven't, or you even remotely like, dramatic action, please watch this. This is fantastic.
Yeah, it was a really good one.
La, did you get to see Monkey Man yet?
No. It's on the list.
I was hoping so. It's one that I would love to do like a deep dive in here on the Real Study for, because it's very relevant, exceptionally relevant. That said, we do have 2 movies that we're going to talk about. La has never seen the Top Gun movies at all, and we wanted to make sure she had seen them because they are RRR. So hey, look at that. We could do Monkey Man and RRR together. That would be a good.
I heard RRR is really good too, though.
Oh yeah,
I haven't seen that one.
Great.
People been going like, I've heard people talk about that one.
Such a fun surprise. Yeah.
It was on like people were reacting to it on YouTube like for a nice chunk of time. I was like, oh, this is this movie must be good.
Yeah, it is a long one.
It's long.
Okay,
gotcha. If I can handle Spartacus, I can watch anything, I think. Okay, so we're going to talk about Top Gun, but I do want to give I want to give the positive sides of these films before we get to Law's potential contrarian sides.
I have positive things.
I'm not saying you don't. I'm not saying you don't. But I wanted to start with all due respect. I did want to start with Janine since she was Maverick chick and really there's a level of almost obsession with the people on the bottom two parts of the panel. So I'm gonna go Janine and then Brian. So go ahead, Janine. Top Gun. What do you think about it after 40 years old?
How I've missed you.
Yeah, I think I think Top Gun is just kind of endlessly cool. Like, I knew like huge scenes. I knew the soundtrack before I had even seen the movie. So the fact that it can have this like iconic impact with elements of it, I think is just really amazing, and it speaks to kind of what this film wanted to be. You're setting up these really kind of well-defined characters that fit into kind of these very specific kind of tropes, which just makes them fun to watch. Again, the soundtrack I think is really cool. It comes in at just the right moments, and even just the action in the aerial stuff I think is really well done. You feel for the characters. They set up the relationship between Maverick and Goose really well. There's this kind of cheesy intensity to scenes, which is just really fun. But when we do kind of get into more serious things, those moments I think hit really hard. And yeah, I just think it's a very cool film.
I love it. Brian, what do you think of Top Gun after all these years?
After all these years, I mean,
why he put you out like that? Jeez, calm down.
I know. I mean,
I have a feeling you saw it when you were a kid, like I did. So
yeah, I mean, it's all right. This is the lovely crown jewel or one of the crown jewels of my collection. I don't know if I can show it on here, but it's like the two steel books.
Cool. Yeah,
that's cool.
The thing is massive. I know. I love it. It came with all these fun things. It's like,
he said it so quick. I love it. I love it.
But Top Gun. Yeah, I mean, I've talked about it a million times. Like I've kind of lived on an aircraft carrier a couple times, so I kind of like lived that like life. I worked on F-14s, like a little bit of F-14 stuff. It was mostly F-18s, which is more on Top Gun Maverick. But
fancy.
Yeah, so I kind of like lived the life a little bit, but. So it's like been through my whole life. My dad loved it. I remember it came out in May of 1986. So I was like just under 6 years old. I remember like my parents going to see, like they rarely went to the movies, but they went to go see Top Gun in theaters and left me and my brother to my grandma to go see it. So I was too young, to see that, but I've seen it. So totally.
Tongue down.
It's quite sensual. This film.
Yeah, no, totally. I know.
Even me, I'm 38. I was like,
ooh. Yeah, once that Berlin song kicks, you're like, what's happening?
Yeah. The tongue comes out. The tongue comes unfurled.
They were both single. They today have a person.
Yeah.
I said, all right.
I mean,
you
don't see that anymore. Yeah. But I mean, yeah, like Janine kind of like really nailed it on the head, like I mean, I had the soundtrack playing multiple times. Berlin actually, like, I think won the Academy Award for that song, Take My Breath Away. Like
and even how it's worked into the score as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like which they kind of did similar thing
in Maverick, right? Okay, I thought I heard it a little bit, like they did like a instrumental of it, like not so much
with Lady Gaga's song.
With Lady Gaga.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like,
so
am I hearing this correctly?
Yeah, and we'll see like there's some fun like callbacks.
There's some fun overlap.
Yeah. And it's just like it really is just kind of like, I mean, it's Tony Scott. And it's just like you said, endlessly cool. And like there's even like behind the scenes stuff. Tony Scott's like, he's like, an incredible filmmaker, and he takes it seriously. Like he had this whole like book of like this photography book of how he presented Jerry Bruckheimer, like this is what it's going to look like, and it like comes on screen, like just these, everything's like got this haze, this cool vibe to it, and this like everything's shot at like golden hour. It feels like every
everything feels
single
like a still.
yeah,
Like it could be
you know, like that great warm light
Mhm.
is throughout. But I mean, there was like behind the scenes stuff of like Tony Scott just like, you know, he just like
Already seeing
machismo
it.
to the max. You know, he's wearing like all kinds of like Tomcat hats or F-14 hats or something.
Oh my
And
gosh,
he's like
yeah.
just has like the biggest cigar in his mouth.
Oh
Like
my
like
gosh.
just like he was like, I mean, he's the dude. There's no one else to shoot Top Gun other than Tony Scott. You know, I mean, yeah. I mean, I love it. It's like, yeah, it has some things to it. I'm not gonna be like it's like a perfect film by any stretch, you know what I mean? But I mean, for the time too, it's like, I mean, it just fits. Everything works, and and they really, and Tom Cruise again, even at that young age, he was so dedicated. To like, I mean, he did go up in an F-14 like 3 times, I guess, in this movie, and the first time he vomited like pretty hardcore. So he has that for him. But no, it's I love watching it. It's just, I mean, a lot of nostalgia, but still like a lot of techniques for you. Like at the time, it was the best aerial cinematography that you could get until Maverick came out. Of course.
Until Maverick, right?
Yeah.
100%. All right, Lala, you want to go before me or?
You said that's so unenthusiastic. It's like,
Yeah.
all right.
That's funny.
You want to get this over with?
Yeah.
Just
You want to get it over with, or do
Pull
you
his
want to
Band-Aid off.
All right, Lala, what did you think of Top Gun? Because you said that before the show you were like, Top Gun, yeah, but Maverick, maybe. So go ahead, tell us what you thought about this one.
Okay, I'm gonna say all the good stuff. I don't have really anything bad to say about the original Top Gun. I will say this though. I liked every actor in this. I'm a fan of like every actor that popped up on screen. I was just like, oh yeah, that's a dude from the thing, and that's a chick from the thing, and that's a So I was excited, like seeing all these people was just like really nice. For one, I thought everybody was in a bag. I will agree with like Brian, like the cinematography, the film itself is just beautiful. Like it is beautiful, like how it's shot, like the use of lighting, you know, like even when they pair people up, like they do that like that in the shadow thing a lot with like people. It looks like a cardboard cutout, but then it'd be like people in front. I don't know what it is, but like it's beautiful. Like it's very stylized. It's very like 86. It's a very 80s film, and I love 80s films. Like I'm a big fan of 80s films, so like this just felt very of its genre. Anthony Edwards is like the cutest little thing in this film to me. He's the cutest thing because I'm just like ER. I'm just like ER. Like so, like that's where my brain went. So it was like great seeing him in this, and then I spazzed when he died. Spoiler alert.
It's probably one of the most well-known spoilers in film history.
I didn't know he died. I lost my mind.
You never had that spoiled for you.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Talk to me Goose is for a reason, right?
Listen, I'll probably say talk to me Goose for the rest of my life. Do you understand? I want the shirt. I want anything to say talk to me Goose. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I probably won't like, you know, have these in my collection, but they weren't like horrible films. You know what I'm saying? I can see like it's very like I feel like if I was younger when I first watched this, I would probably feel different than I do now as like being an adult. But who knows? It's some stuff that I've watched that I love that I didn't watch as a kid. So but it had a lot of like it had some heart to it. The Goose part is to me is just I had the heart in it. I was like this film is nothing without this person. I was like, I don't want to watch this film anymore. But I also know like sometimes in films you need a Coulson, and this was like Goose was like the original Coulson in a way, like kind of, but like you know he was like he needed something to kind of like grow him up a bit in a sense, like test him, grow him up a bit in a sense, and like I get it, and I enjoyed that aspect of it. I like when it got into the more like heart of the stuff, and not so much like machismo. When it got more to the heart of the stuff, I think that's where I was kind of like.
How about that volleyball scene, huh?
That volleyball scene, though, baby,
playing with the boys.
Yeah, the song too, the song choice. Jesus, like
I'll just sit in the corner. You know what I mean? I won't even interrupt. You know, if the ball go out of bounds, right? I got you. You know what I'm saying? I got you. Don't even come out this way. Stay over there. I got you. If it happens. Volleyball team is always great. Let me find my words. Hold on. Let me find my words. For Maverick and Charlie, I felt like that was supremely rushed. And the only reason I believe it is because I like the chemistry between Tom Cruise and Kelly McGinnis. I think they have really, really good chemistry. That it's very effortless. Like it was some scenes with them where I was like, that's cute. That is just dang on cute. Like it was just like they have such good chemistry. But I feel like it went from like 0 to I love you in like 2.5 seconds.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's an 80s movie.
I mean, it's
No, but that's what I
It was
said. I
like-
was like, I understand it's an 80s film. That's
Right.
what they did. That's what they do.
Yeah.
But it's still something that I've never liked. And that's why, like, that's a thing in the 80s that I kind of just never liked. And I don't think I ever will.
They turned up the happy endings hard in the
Man,
80s.
like
they really
like
geared them up.
absolutely.
That
It
was the
was
one
like
cue they always took from test audiences.
it was kind of like they wanted to tell you, like, you too can find happiness in a 2.5 seconds. Like,
Look at the movies of the 70s.
Yeah.
The movies of the 70s were gritty, raw, real. The world sucks.
Like,
and so people were like, I'm tired of this. Please give me
some
E.T.
hope.
I'm tired,
Give me happy
Grandpa.
ending.
Still haven't seen that movie.
That's too damn bad.
Thank you, Janine. Thank you, Janine. That's why you my girl.
Can you imagine, like, so many people know the sound, but like,
I've never seen that movie in my life.
That's funny.
But I thought it was like I said, I thought it was well acted. I love seeing young Tom Cruise. I don't know why. No offense to older Tom Cruise.
He has crooked teeth. If you look,
yes,
you notice.
it's just something very. It just feels something very nostalgic about young Tom Cruise for me. It just takes me back to a time where I'm like, this is nice. You know, like that's what it feels like when I see young Tom Cruise.
We knew he was insane.
You know, maybe that's what it is.
He's just a dude.
I like to forget that he
was just a movie star, a burgeoning movie star.
Burgeoning. But I always find it funny in the 80s that they love putting like black characters in things, but don't really give them lines. But it's more so to be like, hey,
same guy from Die Hard.
Yes,
Die Hard.
Basically doing the same thing he did in Die Hard.
Did you guys catch his name?
No, what's his name?
The character's name is Sundown.
Yeah,
that is his name. Yeah, and I was like,
but it's because of a squadron of planes. Quite literally, I look because I was like, wait a minute, wait a minute. That's odd.
I didn't think this one through. Yeah.
Right, so I went and looked it up, and no, he has the same emblem on his helmet.
I will say I'm a little disappointed that the black man in Maverick wasn't Sundown, but I'll get to that when I get to that because I have a lot of things that I'm disappointed.
Yeah, I would have liked to have had it be him. I don't know how,
it should have been him.
It would have been interesting if it was him.
It should have been him, but whatever. I didn't write the movie, but overall, it was. I think Top Gun 86 is what I'll call it. Top Gun 86 is a beautifully created film, but it's very much of its time, and it has some tropes that kind of have me like, eh.
Oh, it's full on 80s.
Oh, yeah. You know,
like, it is.
The funny thing is like we call them tropes especially with like, because at the time when it came out, it wasn't a trope. You know what I mean? Like
it was like the first film to really play into that.
Yeah. So
it was the first of its
time. I mean, but I still feel like
tropes were built off of the back.
Exactly, right.
But I still feel like it was still kind of done before, having like kind of like trophy things like you fall in love in 2.5 seconds. But again, it's of its time, and that's not like a bad thing about it. It's just a thing I noticed.
Well, action movies have to have quick love. If you slow the story down for love, it's going to kill the pacing. So, like, it has to hit those same beats.
But I still feel like there are still films that do it very well, and it's not slowed down. The pacing is still good. But again, like I said, this is a movie of its time. I'm not faulting it for it. I'm just saying that it's something I've noticed.
Right.
To be fair, there's also the element that sometimes people do fall in love that fast. Like that does happen. So I mean,
also you have to think about this is like about 8 weeks or whatever, however long the training is.
So even after a month and a half,
it's easy to like, it's easy to.
The only person you're like isolated on this like place, and like only
6
this
weeks
person
in,
gets what you do, and I get it.
Right.
6 weeks in, and they're doing tongue silhouettes.
That also doesn't hurt.
No, absolutely. When both of you are very good looking,
it's
quite easy to get lost in it all. I get it.
Lost in the
so
absolutely.
When I was a kid, I hated the Val Kilmer character. I hated Iceman. I was 100% for Maverick. He was
my favorite.
Right. Well, as an adult, though, I'm like, dude, why aren't you listening to Iceman?
He's sensible.
Right. You are
smart,
dangerous.
and he's
you are
still
getting
good
stupid
at
up
what
there.
he does.
You are putting people at risk. and he's not wrong.
Betsy.
My wife wrote, "I fell in love with Sneedy the first day I met him."
Betsy, you know what? Now that you say that, I still don't like it. No,
like, I don't believe you.
I don't believe you. I don't believe it was my first night. No, I think
that trope does not work in real life. All right,
it doesn't.
Quit it.
No.
I think that this movie was part of the reason, and movies like it were part of the reason that when I did go in the military, that going to fly was one of the reasons. Like this movie did it. I used to have a little F-14 Tomcat and love moving the wings. I played Top Gun on Nintendo, which if you've ever played Top Gun on Nintendo Entertainment System, it is near impossible to land on the aircraft carrier. It's like almost impossible. I don't think
it's almost close to reality though, because like the skill it takes to like land on a carrier is pretty insane.
Well, yeah, you're landing on like a stamp in the middle of a vast ocean, you know.
And then do that at night when there's no lights on the carrier. Oh god. And it's pitch black, like
hard pass. So or do it without, you know, landing gear and things of that nature.
Oh wow. Jeez.
So being raised in a military family, being a military person, etc., there's an element of this where it's just always fascinating, even if it's not a branch that I'm used to. Like Brian can attest to, you know, what it's like to be on a carrier, what it's like to be out there, you know, dealing with the planes. But I still was always fascinated talking to Navy people because they got to work on boats while I got to sit in a building on land, which was not exciting. So I don't know. I think that this movie is much like most Tony Scott films. This still really, really, really works. And it's simple. It's boy meets girl. Boy has tragedy. Boy overcomes tragedy. Boy loses girl. I know he doesn't lose her in the end, but in a weird way, he ultimately loses her. And I didn't feel like it was going to last at the end either. I was just like, they're right.
No, I mean,
it was so rushed.
No.
Well,
Come on,
she got her promotion too. She got a promotion.
She was already going to leave.
She was already
leaving. It was a summer fling,
and
she had a bigger prospect. It's somewhere else in Washington, right? I think it was Washington.
So really, it should have been Grease. Should have been the sequel to this because it was a summer fling that didn't last.
Yeah.
And, I know I'm terrible. I really, I can't talk about the performance of the filming of the planes because they did go out on legitimate carriers. They got naval permission to do every aspect of the film. But this is pre-CG, so everything you see is if it's not real, it's a model getting blown up. So
well, and like the close-up stuff of them in the cockpit is like on a set that they shot with like a you know. But there are some stuff in the air that, you know, because it was actually Tom Cruise like negotiated in his contract to be like, hey, I need to fly inside one of these.
How?
You know? So he worked that out. I don't know, man. He's like
it's crazy.
He's still doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Like that was his thing too. Like he's always been kind of like, you know,
that's what he did in Maverick, where he got everybody to get like certified or something, right? Like he was like
another level in Maverick, but
he didn't run in this movie.
No, and there's no running in this one, but this is
was running in the second one. I was like, Lord,
I
was like, Lord, have
he ran more than once in the second one.
Tom Cruise.
He had to find a way to do it.
But this movie almost didn't get made like most movies we know and love. Like the Navy actually passed on it, and it wasn't until like at the time the Secretary of the Navy got a script. I can't remember who had like good connections with Secretary of the Navy at the time or the DOD, but once the Secretary of the Navy saw it, he like really liked it and saw the greater like potential for like recruitment and for how it would make the Navy look. So he was like on board, and sure as shit, like recruiting numbers spiked like crazy.
No, this is a propaganda film.
Yeah, this is like.
But that's, I feel like sometimes though, but that's what film should be. Sometimes it's showing people other things that they didn't think were possible that they can go for. You know what I'm saying? So I think for that, Top Gun is really cool for that because some people might have found the thing they love because of Top Gun. You know what I mean? I think that's super dope, and I think that's what film should be as opposed to what it is now. But that's a whole different discussion. My bad.
Oh no, but we can continue on that. I saw the core, and I really wanted to get into geology. So
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, no, I am doing terrible with these tonight, and I'm gonna now cease
No,
and
actually, no.
desist.
See, actually, you're knocking it out the park. You're just not getting the reaction you want.
Or deserve, maybe deserve.
No, you want.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. All right. Anybody want anything else? I mean, we didn't even talk about Val, who is a huge part of the movie. We talked about him a little bit, but
yeah,
it's weird
I mean,
when I
it
look
is
back at the
Val
movie.
Kilmer
I don't
movie,
think about him being in it as much as he is. He's like really in
Yeah.
this movie. Like,
No,
a lot.
totally.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He
He
is
actually
the
didn't want to do it
antagonist.
either.
He didn't.
No, he didn't want to do it. Like it was kind of a contractual thing, I believe,
Oh,
from what I read. But then once he was in it, like, you know, it's an iconic character, you know, and like when he was on the set too shooting, he and Tom like made it a thing where they kind of like didn't talk to each other, you know, so that it seemed like there was tension between them, but it was just them trying to be their characters, really.
Yeah.
And he actually like loved Tom. He said Tom was just like, you know, a teddy bear and was like really great and everything. So there really was no bad blood between them, but on the set they were trying to like maintain
that
this,
distance,
you know,
for the characters. Yeah.
But it
Oh,
seemed
cool.
like there could have been tension between them, but there wasn't. Yeah.
Interesting. This was right after he'd done Real Genius too, so like he was still not even
fresh
the
faced.
biggest name. Yeah. So seeing him come up from this, well, both of them, like this set both of their careers on new trajectories, I would argue.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he had done, let's see, Tom had done Risky Business, and he had done
Outsiders.
Yeah, but they weren't like nothing actiony,
nothing big
level.
action blockbustery.
Yeah.
Like and I mean, he would go on to do Days of
Thunder after this, right?
Yeah.
It was
I was gonna
after.
say he did Days of
Pretty much
Thunder,
right-
which is just
right
you know
after this.
NASCAR Top Gun.
With
It's the
yeah,
same
that's
movie.
exactly what I call it too. It's it's NASCAR Top Gun. Yeah,
and
totally.
it's great. It works too. Still
Wait, no,
and the
he
look,
never went back. I think
the
he
look
found
is
his
very similar to
Yeah.
Top Gun in a lot of ways. You know,
just take Pete, right? Take Maverick and like mess up his hair and put a jean jacket on him, and that's cultural. Like
And Nicole Kidman
a
is
leather jacket.
McGillis.
Right,
Yeah.
100%.
So good.
Oh, can I say
and
that
then Michael Rooker is Iceman? Like so, like
not Miss Meg Ryan. Can I say seeing Meg Ryan in this, the young Meg Ryan?
I know, is that great?
Kind of took me off guard because I didn't like know she was in this. And I was like,
I'm just like, I wonder if Jack Quaid auditioned for Rooster.
That'd be awesome.
I will say though, I
surprise
thought about
me.
that.
Right.
I really thought about that. I was like, when I was watching Maverick, I was like, why didn't Jack Quaid audition for this?
Right.
But and if I think about it, Miles Teller does look like a young Andy Edwards in a sense.
I mean, the
He does.
mustache.
He does
I
pull
think
it
he
off
does.
with the
Tells it.
mustache. Yeah,
And he
Like-
actually looks pretty good with a mustache. I was like,
He did. I was like, you know what? This wasn't. I was like, not bad. Because when they went back and showed like young Goose, I was like, that ain't bad. I was like, I'm not mad at
Yeah,
that.
it worked.
I was like, it worked pretty nice.
Yeah.
nice. Let's go ahead and rate Top Gun because we want to talk about Maverick because there's plenty to talk about apparently. So let's go in the same order. Janine, what do you rate Top Gun?
Yeah, always a lot of fun with this film. Really enjoy it. I'm giving it an 8.5.
8.5. How about you, Brian? 8.5?
No,
hear
for me,
8.5?
for
Okay.
me, it's a 9. Just because
Nine.
it's like been in my
said
life
nope.
Yeah.
for so long. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I could like ramble on about like all the Navy stuff, you know, like I love talking about all the like technical stuff about, you know, the carrier and how like all that stuff works because like we had to like learn that and everything. It's also great like looking at like there's still things I pinpoint that are like, oh, that wouldn't actually happen, or why is he not wearing his cover? Like there's one time where in Top Gun that like I paid more attention to. I'm like, oh, he's not wearing his cover. He's outside. What are you doing? Put your cover on. Damn,
I love
man.
that you can
Happens in
see those
Maverick,
things
too.
in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But still a 9. Yeah, for me.
That strengthens the film too, to be able to have those kind of references.
Those insights.
I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, since you did bring it up, and before we go to law, how like okay, I've never been on a really big boat, but I've been on plenty of boats on the ocean.
Yeah.
Is it noticeably rocky at times, or is it pretty steady?
Oh my
'cause of
God,
how big
no.
it is?
No. It's like you barely notice it. It's so I mean, I can't like really describe and really just like it's the biggest ship I've ever seen in my life or even been on. It's just like like then the U.S. Navy is one of the only navies that will do underway replenishment. Most other ships will go into port, replenish and supply, but that slows things down because you have to stop and do all this stuff. The Navy will actually do it while you're out in the middle of the ocean, still moving, and another ship will come up alongside you. You shoot lines across, and like a helicopter goes back and forth and drops supplies. But the thing is, it's always a smaller ship than the carrier, and so like we're just like cruising along, like we don't even slow down really, but this other ship is just getting battered, just getting slammed. There's like water coming up over the deck, and like the people on deck are getting soaked.
Oh my god!
And I'm literally like just like watching them drinking coffee. Like, oh man, that sucks.
Cruising by, cruising by. Oh my god!
Yeah, like we don't feel a thing. Yeah, it's pretty.
But
funny,
it is still a boat, so it still has hatches and it still has all the slim corridors, etc.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's plenty of times I've hit my head on like the the doorways and everything and the hatches. So and yeah, those hurt. But the thing is, it's a big industrial environment. Like the hangar bay is huge, so that there is that kind of like nice open space, and you can go on the flight deck, or not actually on the flight deck. You can go up to what's called Vulture's Row, where the island is. There's a deck called Vulture's Row, and you can observe flight ops pretty much whenever you want. Just you have to wear hearing protection. So I'd go up there every once in a while and just like watch them do.
And this is on your time off, because you'd still be working 8-12 hours.
Yeah, I mean, even taking a break, I could just go take a break real quick, and just watch flight ops real quick. And yeah, so it's.
Did you ever put Top Gun music in and just watch?
No.
Okay.
No, we didn't do that. No, yeah,
I would have done that.
And we never watched Top Gun on the ship either.
His alarm clock was ringing, though.
You guys didn't watch Top Gun on the boat?
No, we didn't.
Talk about a trope.
So, well, the funny thing is too, like at the actual Top Gun, you're like fined like $5 if you like say any lines from Top Gun. Like,
hilarious. That's hilarious. Because they probably got it so much since like 86.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Well, to the point where they were like, you know what?
We're like,
fine.
No,
it's not like the movie made a recruit, that went to Top Gun.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it. I'm not gonna be here and not say it at least once. Okay, say something at least once.
It's worth $5.
Money.
And I know somebody's doing it on purpose, because even in basic training, we had fools doing things they were never supposed to do because they were trying to do all those crazy things.
Yeah.
More pictures with the drill sergeant's round on their head than I'd like to talk about. Anyway, all right, Law, what did you think of Top Gun? What do you rate Top Gun?
Here we go. Brace yourself.
Hold on to something.
Yeah.
Hold on to your butts. I mean, I give it a 7.5.
she's just like shifting.
6, 5,
yeah,
7,
I give it
a.
She's like looking at our faces. Is that okay?
Is that all right? Is that okay? Can we go higher?
7.5.
Right.
A soft 7.5.
I give it a medium 7.5.
Medium. So it's a little bloody.
It's a hard-boiled 7.5.
There you go. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right.
It's hard, but it's soft.
I'm gonna copy all the movie things. It's a 9. Like I
love that for y'all.
I had a great time watching this again.
Yeah.
And I just watched it last year because we hadn't seen Maverick, so I watched it back to back. And I'm sitting here watching it again, and I don't know why, but I'm like, how did I not get that dialogue last time?
No, totally.
Like, things like that.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
But like him getting told what really happened to his dad, and that little secret that Viper gives him. Tom Skerritt, an amazing leader in the film.
But then even something like I didn't realize Viper says to him that he ends up saying to Rooster, and I was like, I don't think I noticed that before.
No,
I watched it in a while.
As a person that watched them back to back, I was like, that's a nice callback.
Yeah, you were like,
when we watched them before, it was like separated.
No,
enough
absolutely,
realize,
it was enough gap. It was enough gap that you were like, I get it, but I saw back to back. I was like,
you're like, oh yeah.
Look at that. I was like, he learned. Look at this boy learned from
the
right, and he did. Watching them back to back was interesting
30 years
because it looks like when
Maverick,
they
you
made.
never know.
We'll move to Maverick, so I can just say this and we can go right into it. But they made the movie in almost exactly the same pacing and like with all the same.
It's exactly the same movie. They hit all of the same beats.
I mean, it's
right.
wild.
But somehow took them up a notch.
It's the Force Awakens. It's the Force Awakens of Top Gun films.
It is. That's a good way to put it. But I'd say even more so than Force Awakens. Force Awakens is like loosely. Well, this is like literally lines and like moments. Like when he breaks to go see Ice. Is the same, like there's that moment where he goes to see Viper. That's exactly the same moment. I was like,
absolutely.
We have our equivalent songs. We have our Play with the Boys version. We have our Take My Breath Away version.
Exactly. Yeah. That whole thing where like
fire, Great Balls of Fire when he's playing it because his dad played it, he played it on the thing. Like it's the same.
There's the moment at the bar where like they don't realize that he's actually gonna be their instructor.
Yeah,
and
when
he hits on Charlie,
same thing. Yeah, that's great.
So good.
All right, Law. Since I let us start, let's let you start. Tell us
go.
Why you don't.
Oh wait,
like
sorry.
Maverick.
I needed to change real quick. So.
Oh, he's got another shirt.
Another shirt, yeah, Brian.
Take that off there. Oh Lord.
Wardrobe change.
Take our breath away, Brian. Come on.
Yeah.
No, I promised I wouldn't get. I was like, I promised to do whatever it takes to get more subscribers. So I was gonna strip you guys. Yeah. This is a Maverick one. There you go.
Oh, nice.
For those of you that are just listening, he switched shirts. But it was one under the other. We didn't get any bare-chested Brian.
No nipple was shown.
No.
Real study is nipple.
He didn't
promise someone I wouldn't do that. So
promise someone I like that. All right, Law, let's hear what you think of Maverick.
Go ahead, Law.
Maverick. It did not have the same charm as Top Gun. I was a little disappointed with that. Because Top Gun did have a charm, but this one didn't. I feel like it shouldn't have been about Maverick. I felt like it should have been about Rooster probably, or at least maybe touch more on Maverick and Rooster's like relationship. Like we got like 30 years worth of nothing, and this film just kind of like gives you nostalgia without earning it. And I'm just kind of like, because Kelly McGinnis didn't want to come back, I understand. So you threw Jennifer Connelly in there as like a character that kind of got mentioned in the first one, but we didn't see their lead up. So I'm supposed to care about this relationship? I absolutely do not. I wanted to go back to the class. The class of students that they had seemed more interesting than this like relationship between him and this woman that he had a relationship with previously. So I didn't really care about that. I kind of got thrown off but it was my own fault because I was like trying to figure out what was going to happen, because that's just what I do with film sometimes. So I was like, oh, he's going to be mad at him because he thought he let his dad die, but then it wasn't that. Even though he still kind of like jabbed him a little bit with that little kind of underneath to jab him with that. But the fact that he kind of like held him back because of his mom, I love that little aspect of the story. I thought that was really like just because it makes sense that his mom wouldn't want him to follow in his father's footsteps because of how devastated she was in the first one. So like, I don't think they should have killed off Meg Ryan. Like, she alive, y'all could have brought her back. but I also get it. Like, you do what you do. I would have just liked to have seen. I thought Meg Ryan was going to be in this one. I was like, even though I didn't see her name, but I didn't see her name in the first one, so I was just like, oh snap! Like, I thought she was going to be in here, and I was a little disappointed. I thought Glenn Powell was a douchebag in the best way.
Yes,
he's Iceman.
So good.
He's the Iceman.
I said at the beginning, I was like, he's the Iceman of this one. But I thought like, to me, he was Iceman without like the support until like the very end. like Iceman was like a douche throughout the whole thing, but he still had moments of like, bro,
because he was right. Like he was making sense.
You know what I'm saying? Like he
wasn't cocky about it.
He wasn't right. Like he had his moments where he was inserting like truth. And Glenn Powell's character was just a douchebag. Like he didn't have, he wasn't inserting nothing for nobody.
He wasn't wrong about Rooster though. He wasn't wrong about Rooster.
No, he wasn't. But a clock is right twice a day type of thing. You know what I mean? Like he still was a douchebag who left his people. Like if we're in the air and we're fighting, you don't get to leave me.
Yeah,
bro.
there was
but, I mean,
that. His actions were different.
He has terrible actions. I guess I'll say he has like terrible actions. But he does make up for it at the end because I was like, my mom actually like laughed at me because I yelled out. I was like, if Glenn Powell do not save them at the end, what is this movie? Like, I just yelled out.
Right.
And I was like, and then boom, and then he blew. I was like, okay, bet. I was like, okay, because what are we doing? Overall, it was an okay film. I personally don't think they knew what they wanted to do because it felt like Mission Impossible Maverick at times, and I was just like, so now we're going undercover. Like now we're like not undercover, but now we're stealth to steal this thing and trying to get away. But I felt like there was no earning of anything. Like even like Rooster and all of them, I didn't see him earn being like with him. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't see any of this. Like everybody like didn't get any. They didn't win anything. Like everybody, they kept failing. They kept losing. I know that they're the best. I get that, but when you go to Top Gun, you kind of see them like fail and figure it out and get better, and then they get wins, and then they get. And I didn't see anybody win. I was just supposed to agree that they all are great pilots and just be done with it in that way. But I don't know. I didn't like this movie. I guess I'll say like
right.
It wasn't horrible, but I feel like it missed a lot of elements and didn't have nearly as much heart for me as like Top Gun did.
All right. Brian, I like you segueing right into the chat with that. You say Top Gun Maverick is superior in every way to Top Gun. Let's hear why you think so.
Yeah. I mean, I saw this movie twice in theater. The first time was in IMAX. I have never had quite that kind of experience in a theater. Like, it was like a visceral, physical experience I had. I mean, I immediately loved this movie. I've loved it every single time I watch it. I cried during this movie. I never cried during Top Gun. I cried at Top Gun Maverick. Like, I don't know. It like there's something about that scene where he's like in like that stealth, that secret plane, which has a funny story, by the way, where China thought that was a real plane and had like we're spying on it, and like there's this whole thing.
Gosh.
It's insane. Yeah. China thought it was
gosh.
real. Yeah. So anyway, but that whole thing and like it's just a beautifully shot sequence, and the music's really great. And like he has that moment where he's like, "Talk to me, Goose," and I'm just like, "Oh my god," it's like, just like, damn.
Yeah, and this responsibility he feels for Rooster.
Yeah,
God,
yes, exactly. Yeah, I know, and it's a gorgeous film. Like, dear God, it's beautiful to look at, and just like we talk about, like, okay, Top Gun at the time had the like most advanced, the best aerial cinematography at the time. I don't know how anyone's going to top this. Like, this is insane. Like, they're in those planes. There's like little to no CGI. I mean, it's just like, that's the closest I'm going to get to be inside one of those, is watching this movie.
Right.
I mean, it's just, and just like all those sequences are just beautifully shot. And I will say, like, the editing, like the editors like had their work cut out for them, because there was like so much footage from each one of those planes that they had 3 cameras in the cockpit, and they had to teach them, the cinematographer, I think it was Claudio Miranda, who was nominated for this film, by the way, like, and for good reason, like had to teach all the actors, like, hey, here's like, you want to look for this kind of lighting when you're in the plane, and like they like operate the cameras themselves and everything, and like this whole thing. So it was just like such an undertaking to make this film. I mean, I love like every aspect of it. All the fun callbacks are great. I feel like Tom Cruise is even, I mean, of course he's a seasoned actor now. He has like especially when you're watching these films back to back, you can really see like, oh, he still was like still kind of greenish, in some of these scenes that he had in Top Gun, but then like in Maverick, he's really come a long way. So I think that also like just mirrors his own career as well as, Maverick's kind of career. And there is one element to where it's like, he's been a captain for like this long. That's the one element I think is a little, they kind of like, play with that, like kind of just let that be, because like the Navy would have eventually like kind of sent him on his way. Like they wouldn't have allowed him to be a captain for so long. Yeah, because if you're not like continuing to like make rank after so long, then
Mhm.
they would like at 20 years he would have retired as a captain, basically. So
Yeah.
but
Isn't a captain the same as a colonel in the army? Isn't that the same level?
yes.
In the Navy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
Full.
not terribly low either, because captain.
No,
when
it's
an army
not.
person says
But
captain, we think lieutenant captain. That's how army
yeah,
goes. Like captain's low in the army. So,
yeah, exactly. Yes. But it's a lieutenant in the Navy. Like, yeah,
right.
which is
As
what he
someone
is
who
in Top Gun.
Yeah, as someone who knows nothing about the ranking system, I always just read it that it felt very true to the character that he loves flying so much that he wouldn't
Exactly.
want to
Yes.
move up. He would want to stay there and
Yeah,
keep doing the thing that he loves to do. And
for
that's the only
sure.
way he'd be able to do that. So
Yeah. And that's why he's stated like a test pilot and everything and
yeah.
all those kind of things. And yeah, and another element that really hits me emotionally too is like the whole stuff with Iceman. I mean, how they worked
Yes,
in
that was
Val
such a great
Kilmer's
scene.
actual
Yes, and tried
his
to
actual
give him a
disease.
voice in,
Oh man.
yeah.
And then when he finally passes, it's just like,
Yeah, and his kids, his actual real life kids are in that funeral scene. Yeah.
oh man, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like now, it just like hits even more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well,
yeah,
this
I
was
don't
his
know.
last big on-screen role.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Mhm.
Janine, tell us
So-
what you think of Maverick.
Yeah.
The movie, not the. Yeah.
Well, we know how she feels about Maverick.
Yeah.
So.
I absolutely loved this movie. It was my favorite of the year. I saw it 5 times in theaters.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah, I love
In
that.
every
Yeah,
format. I
Janine,
saw it
There you
in
go.
standard.
Did you see it in
I saw
Screen
it
X?
in Screen X.
Did you see it
I
in
saw it
Screen
in
X? Okay,
3D. I saw it in IMAX.
Oh
and
my
I saw it
God.
in 4DX. And
Might
4DX,
as well.
this was the best 4DX
You win, Janine. We get it.
This was the best 4DX experience ever. Like
Really? Oh my
choreographed
God.
the chairs for this movie.
That's awesome.
Fit all of the aerial
Oh my
stuff
God.
So you
so
like-
well when
you're
he's
kicking
on the
side to
bike.
side?
Like,
Yeah.
yes, you felt all of that when he's just kind of cruising and
That's
the
so
chairs like
awesome.
move nice and easy. There was wind blowing in your face.
Oh my
like
God.
Yes.
Did it when the
Yes.
when the test plane blows up? Did
That's
it like
insane.
go
Yes.
nuts? Okay.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So
Yeah.
the best kind of choreographed chairs. I don't know how they do
Wow.
it, but 4DX, it was the best 4DX experience. I love that they literally just made the same movie, but somehow kind of upped everything.
It
Like
still
there was
feels
more heart.
fresh.
There was
Like,
yes.
yeah.
They replicated the scenes in a really interesting way. Maverick still felt like Maverick. I love that he was still really rebellious, but it was more focused. Like
Right.
he is rebellious, but he's doing it for the greater good. He's doing it for
For the
other
mission.
people,
Right.
for the mission, for like all the people he's working with in the beginning when he's doing the whole test flight. He's doing it to help kind of save their jobs and that kind of thing.
Right.
But he still has that little bit of cockiness because he kind of pushes it too far and that whole
Just a
kind of
little
thing.
more.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
was pretty good.
Yes.
Hondo. I
So,
love Hondo. Hondo's a
yes.
great character. Like, yeah.
I would be remiss to not mention the beach football scene.
Right?
Really, really great.
Glenn
Mhm.
Powell said he went out of his way to make that scene better for people.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
And like
it
for
was-
some reason, Janine, you had issues. Like it just kept
it just wouldn't
replaying
move.
that
It
scene.
wouldn't move past
Yeah,
that scene
yeah, yeah.
for like a
That's so
good
weird.
20
It's like-
minutes. Yeah, it just
Yeah,
kept
for like
moving
20
back. Like,
minutes.
I couldn't get
you
interested.
you
in
needed
going,
to see them become a team, right? Like,
exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Very
Just
I don't know,
important.
maybe
Vital.
like
vital
Janine, how did
scene.
you watch this movie? How did you watch Maverick? What did you watch it on? Or do you own it?
I own it on streaming, so I have it on
streaming?
on my
Oh,
Fandango.
okay. Because I watched it on streaming too, and that scene just I couldn't move past that scene. Right? I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So
You
weird.
Were you
suck,
guys
too.
interrupting each other and like had to restart the scene?
Yes.
Is that what was happening?
Exactly.
I don't know
That
what
must
I'm
have
feeling
been what it
what happened.
was.
I just thought I had a
Um,
glitch version. I don't know.
I
Yeah.
needed to learn about team building. I mean,
You
it's very
know.
important. Very important.
Nothing like
to
beach
way you do it.
football. To do
Yes.
team
Exactly.
building.
But you feel
Um,
like the heart and the effort that went into making this film. Like,
Mhm.
the fact that Tom Cruise was like meeting with One Republic and Lady Gaga to get these songs like just right. Like he was
Yeah.
involved
Yeah,
in
yeah.
that, in helping them
Mhm.
make these songs to replicate kind of what was in the first film. I like our young cast. I love their dynamic. I get a little bit what Law is saying about how it, we didn't really see them do too many successful things for him to choose who he chose. And literally kind of he picked Rooster because I think picking Rooster was more of a gamble of, I want to repair this relationship. I feel this guilt for screwing him over, so I need to give him this opportunity and let go of kind of these past things. And also with Phoenix, like I think, when she was in a dire situation, her and Bob handled that situation really well. So I think that speaks to kind of maybe why they were chosen. But I get kind of what you're saying, how it feels like, we saw them kind of fail over and over again. So, it's hard to see him like picking who we picked.
From the group, I mean, they were the only ones that were like
that we really focused on.
They had speaking lines, so I knew that he was going to pick them. So I just wish that it would just had just sprinkled a little
more mix of other people doing things.
Yes, a little. I'm not asking for much. I don't want much.
Yes, no. So I get where you're coming from with that, but there was some great tension, like, and all of the aerial stuff just looked really cool. It felt real.
It's just
yeah, that stuff looked amazing. I liked the romance with Jennifer Connelly. I think it was kind of simple. They focused on it, I think, just enough. I think with a legacy sequel, obviously exposition is a huge thing. So it's either really clunky and kind of thrown in, or it's really well handled and peppered in at just the right times and feels really natural. And I think they were able to make the exposition feel really natural in connecting it to the first film, particularly with all the Iceman stuff and how kind of, Iceman is the one who's kind of saved him and helped him and kept him kind of, where he is. And if something goes wrong or he messes up, Iceman's always there to kind of clean up his messes. So I liked kind of establishing that dynamic between the two of them, that their friendship has been so long lasting, that he's kind of his guardian angel. And worked in with,
they delve into what happens when that doesn't go through, like when Iceman does die.
Yeah, as soon as he passes,
and he doesn't have them anymore.
Right? He's forced to become old Maverick.
Admiral Ham.
John Hamm is terrible.
I'm gonna break the rules and do a flyby.
I thought John Hamm was hilarious throughout this whole film. I was like, bro, you're kind of like Iceman in a way. Like, you're so mean to him. Like, you're
geez.
Well,
you're
I just felt like Maverick has been doing what he was doing this entire time. Like, I've been like, why are you so angry at this boy? Like, he's a
I'm willing to bet
Aina said it perfectly. He's being a ham. Good one.
I love it. No, I think Maverick broke a lot of airplanes over the years, and I think that pisses off the admirals because they worry more about keeping equipment budget.
There is always
that role that he played really well.
He did play it very well, though. Yes. I was like, dang, John Hamm.
I loved that Ed Harris shows up, not for very long, but long enough to play the grumpy guy from the first movie, Marty McFly's principal, right? Like that's that like just pissed off admiral guy. It fits. And Ed Harris was perfect for it.
I was like, sir, why are you standing there? Why are you doing this?
Because he's a badass. Like he's showing he's a badass while Maverick's being a badass. It's like two badasses.
Yeah.
They cancel each other out.
That's the military machismo. Like it's gotta be.
Yeah, I guess.
And this movie does have a little less machismo. It's a little bit more focused and less purely masculine and more just like I'm an ace rather than I'm a strong man. Which I like that shift.
Well, I love that they find that we get a woman pilot in there too, because there's so many more women pilots now. I mean, fighter pilots too. Like, it's awesome to see her.
And I think there was meant to be more of a relationship, romantic relationship between Phoenix and Rooster, but I think they cut a lot of that out.
Yeah, I think they cut a lot of that out too.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the right decision, because then I feel like that would have been
pulling focus from all the other things they wanted to do, and it would have kind of cut into the pacing that was meant to feel like the pacing of the first film.
That would have felt off. What were you saying, Snitty?
I was gonna say the Bob of it all, like, because we had talked about Bob,
I love Bob.
And Lewis Pullman being in this movie, and I hadn't remembered, so this time I was like focused on Bob the whole time. And I love that because all the actors had to go through this. I loved watching Lewis Pullman like just his face getting yanked all over the place. His face was more like emoted than other people's. Which I loved. I love the realism of the G-forces, the realism of the blackouts,
like the things that can go wrong.
Right. And they did step up the planes, right? F-14s are old. Like no offense, but they're hella old at this point. They were made in the 70s, for God's sake. So they're old planes. They're older than I am. Another movie that made me go, damn it, I really wish I could have been a pilot, because just to me, I love driving. It's one of the things I love the most. It's something I've just always enjoyed, and I've done it for a living in multiple capacities for that reason. And planes have always been like, it's driving, but with nothing in the way. Like I can just drive wherever I want. And so that's why I kind of pursued that as my military career, was to go be a pilot. And just flying a normal Cessna, which is what I've done, is already hard, and you're already gonna get all over the place with things. So I can't even imagine trying to deal with an F-18 or an F-14.
Yeah.
But they do make it very easy to experience what it's like to sit in this plane, especially if you go to a 4D theater, like Janine did. I'm kind of jealous of just that experience alone.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
I think the mission is the unique part to this movie compared to the first movie. In the first movie, it's quite literally like, there's some MiGs, go protect this.
It's very basic. We don't really, where this film, they like
practicing for it. We know it. So by the time we get to it, we know what they're
doing, right?
It's so like, I really love
to
that
me,
too.
To speak to Law's point about what they didn't earn it, knowing what they had to go through and what these planes are capable of in the short time, for me, I was like, oh damn, they're taking the elite and pushing them beyond what is normal. So the fact that they were failing and they were the best, to me, up the stakes to a ridiculous level.
So
when we get to them,
we know how difficult it is.
Right. So when we get to the F-14 scene where they steal it off the runway, which I was like cheering like a little kid. I was like, holy shit, they're flying one.
And even Hangman kind of sets that up.
Right?
If you don't fly like Maverick, you're not coming home.
Right. But that whole scene where or even before that, I think the way that he saves Goose is one of my absolute favorite scenes in the movie. Or not Goose, Rooster. When he does the comes back.
And hits the brakes and goes over him.
I'm just like, it's almost like, it takes your breath away from him.
Yeah, I know. And the way they shot it too is just so beautiful, like graceful, the way he comes back, and just,
it
all
was.
of it. So.
And when he gets shot down, I immediately was like, he'll be fine.
I know.
He's Maverick. He'll be fine.
Exactly.
He's gonna run back.
He's like a superhero.
Exactly.
Then he does have that running scene and all that gear too in the snow.
Right?
He's running full.
And I know why he didn't take off his helmet. One, you got one. They're fitted to you. But I think he should have taken the helmet off to run at least. That was a bit much, but it is what it is. There is a little CGI in this movie. It did stick out to me on the big screen. The Sams are all CGI. And then anytime they get really close to something, that's all CGI. But it's like 2% of the overall special effects. It's next to nothing.
It's pretty phenomenal. A lot.
This movie,
any CGI they had in this too was like.
No, that was nice.
Oh yeah, nice.
But it really I know that's really cliche and ridiculous and punny, but it really I was sitting there holding my breath again watching it last night, just like, oh shit. Because I watched it when the kids were not gonna, bother me. I had it on the big screen, and I'm, full earbutted up, just like.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
Really, really enjoying it as much as I can. Cutting out the world.
My neighbors probably hate me because whenever I watch this movie, it's like
super loud.
How loud can I get this movie? So.
That was me back with Jurassic Park. I would set up my whole sound system. And I would just turn on Jurassic Park and just T-Rex all the way at full volume.
Y'all wanted to be in the movie. I get it.
With this kind of movie, 100%.
Absolutely, I understand. I get it.
The love story I actually liked in this one way more than the Kelly McGinnis love story. I found the first movie's love story to be just kind of boring. With this one, at least there was history. And he was trying to
I love that we introduced her with Bowie. That was a cute little.
Right.
Thing.
Yeah, I know.
Labyrinth nod.
And it just showed that she had a huge community already, and he would be joining her community. If they were to get together, which means he'd be getting a family, which he's never had. Iceman at most, because he never even had Rooster. So the whole dad dead thing always gets me in movies. Whenever there's a dead dad, it gets me. And of course the funeral. I can't watch a military funeral without getting upset at this point, but hey, that's okay. So yeah, I cried during this movie too, Brian. Just so you know.
Yeah.
I also cried. All right.
He also
Any
has
other
his own
thoughts?
plane in this movie. His
Is that
Mustang.
Tom's
That's his
plane?
own plane. Yeah.
Such
That's
a
his.
beautiful airplane.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. World War II. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
flying
and
one
he-
in Flight Sim earlier
Yeah.
today, quite literally. Just
Nice. Yeah.
I was
that's
flying
pretty
through. I
sweet.
actually flew from Eugene to Roseburg in a Mustang today.
Nice.
Just digitally, you know.
You know,
I also
He
Anthony
kinda-
Edwards. Anthony
that he's
Edwards is a pilot as well.
Nice.
Is he
He's a
really?
pilot as well.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
he's been a
Because
pilot.
he's a
since,
Rio in Top Gun. He's not a
Yeah.
pilot. So.
Yeah.
I think he's been a pilot since like 2012,
Oh, nice.
Interesting.
Awesome. Yeah. He kind of
which I thought was
tricked
cool. I was like, okay, good.
Tom Cruise. Kind of tricked Jennifer Connelly into getting into that plane too, because she's in there in the end. But he kind
Yeah.
of tricked her. Like no, we're not going to go up. I just want you to like sit in the plane.
Sit in it.
You know.
Yeah.
Just
And then they
lie.
take off. Yeah. He's like doing
Come on,
barrel
Tom.
rolls and shit. Like
Come on,
that's part of
Tom.
the plane.
Just a lying.
Yeah. I know.
That's
But she
hilarious.
loved it
I would
though.
have been freaking out though. I would have been screaming until we get back on the ground because I'm like, sir, I don't know where your mind is today. Please put me down.
Yeah. But
Airplanes are fun, but they're sketchy. They're so
Absolutely.
sketchy. Any other thoughts? Or should we rate Maverick? And
I just
call it
like
a
the
night?
joke that we see him on a boat and he doesn't know like what to do because
Well, the funny thing is, like,
he's like, yeah, you're in the Navy. And you don't know anything about boats.
that's me. Yeah.
Right?
Like I so
Brian was
like feel that scene where I'm like, yeah, tell him, Tom. You just land on him. Like, yeah, I just worked
just
on
land
a
on
ship.
them,
I didn't
yeah.
Right.
I
You
don't
were a
fix
mechanic,
aircraft.
right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's-
I like fixed airplanes. I didn't work on the I don't know how to sail. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Yeah.
Neither
But
does
that's just
anybody
kind of
on
the
an aircraft carrier.
misconception,
Like that's the thing.
Navy's
There's
the
a
sea, so you
guy,
must know.
Yeah.
at a helm.
There-
There's
So I
a-
like that
are,
they
like-
touched on that misconception. Yeah.
yeah, no, totally. Like there's a select few in the Navy that do know like legit,
Mhm.
seamanship and nautical, stuff like that. Like they try to teach us that in boot camp. Like as soon as I left boot camp, I forgot all that nautical stuff. Like,
right.
like I'm going to Florida to work on airplanes. So yeah, I
Don't bother me.
I'm not gonna be tying knots. Yeah. Yeah. So I love
Yeah,
that
so those
scene.
carriers, since there is one in the sequel as well, another question about carriers,
Mhm.
they stay out and never, like you said, they refuel while going, but they have nuclear power plants essentially.
Yeah, nuclear reactor. Yeah.
and it
So
just
we don't refuel while we're out, but we replenish our supply basically. So
Right.
like food and like any other stuff and fuel too. So we get like jet fuel, comes from replenishment. But so like it's like every 10 years, I think is what it is. Like a nuclear carrier has to go in to dry dock to
For
like
service, basically.
for service. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and
Okay.
and part of that includes like the looking over the reactor and seeing how that's doing. But yeah, essentially a carrier could theoretically stay out forever, and not even come in for that 10-year service. So
That's
yeah.
just to keep the upkeep up and make it
right.
keep sailing, right?
Yeah,
Now the
exactly.
planes, you guys do that. That's what you did. You upkept the planes and worked on them and kept them going.
Yeah, I specifically worked on avionics, like in the F-18, pretty much anything that the pilot sees was what I worked on. So like the heads up display, like their fuel indicators, like there's a lot of display systems and pretty much anything that's like right in front of them is what I
So all
specifically worked
electrical
on.
stuff, basically.
Yeah. Yep. All electronics. Yeah.
So because they know where they're going, you're doing a good job, is what it boils down to. Like, they
Yeah.
know.
And their
Oh,
targeting
right.
and their
Right.
armament.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Oh,
So
so you made them like their equipment perfect for
hopefully,
combat.
yeah, like
Yeah.
that's kind of the idea. Like it made it,
Right.
but sometimes there were like things that would come in where it just like it would be fine, and we're like, this isn't broken, but it would keep coming in. We're like, this is, and you start to know like problem children, because that you start to recognize the serial number of a piece. You're
Right.
like, this son of a bitch is back. I just sent it out. Why is this thing back?
Back again.
So it's like something
you
else
were-
in the aircraft is like
Yeah.
You were
making this go.
avionics tech support in a lot of ways. Like,
Yeah, essentially that's what I was. Yeah, I was an avionics technician. So we'd get a thing, and I wasn't on the flight deck working in that like insane environment. I was nice and cozy in an air conditioned workshop
down in the
'cause-
belly of the boat.
yeah, like a little bit lower, like and like right out like our work center door was like where the hangar was, so I could like walk out of my work center and the hangar was right there, so it's kind of cool. I just walk out there, but yeah, it was like sometimes guys from the squadron would come in, like they would physically drop off a piece, which isn't usually what they do, but they would come in from the heat, like, can we just like hang out here for like 5 minutes? Like we're like, yeah, no, totally, yeah, for sure, dude, you could hang out here, yeah. So yeah, that was funny, but we're like bundled up in, in the work because it's so cold.
Yeah.
So, but that's what I do. It's like worked on their
Cool.
equipment in the cockpit.
That's very cool.
For the F-18, there's other planes I worked on too, but
smaller planes, no choppers.
The EA. Well, there's like one piece of gear that we worked on for the for one of the helicopters on the carrier, and then which is also the same helicopter I re-enlisted on, and then the EA-6B was another primary aircraft I worked on, and there was like one main thing I worked on that, and the EA-6B's mission is electronic warfare, so like jamming, like knocking out power.
Is that the one with the big disc on top?
No, that's like a sub hunter. Those are like well, one's a sub hunter, but the one you see in this film, they kind of like go out further and do reconnaissance and can check how the air is and everything, whether it's safe, and that's how they're able to pick up bogeys and stuff really soon.
And weather and whatnot as well.
But the EA-6B, which is decommissioned now, it's an F-18 that does the EA-6B's job. The F-18 does everything now. Like it's kind of crazy, but the EA-6B it's because of a funky aircraft. It had like a really round nose. It almost looked like a Prowler. It was a 4-seater, so 4 people were inside this aircraft. Yeah, and it was all just jamming. Yep. So anyway, blah blah blah. Navy.
No, not blah blah blah. I find it endlessly fascinating.
That's really cool.
I figure it fits the what we're talking about, so it's perfect.
Right.
Another weird.
We love the knowledge,
movie.
Right?
Yes.
If you haven't watched Flight of the Intruder, it's another Navy movie that I think you should watch from the 80s. Great, Willem Dafoe.
That's classic.
Danny Glover. Great.
Danny Glover.
Now it makes sense why the cat's name is Goose in Captain Marvel.
Right.
Yeah. There you go. Exactly.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also,
right, can I just say real quick, Louis Pullman is the cutest little thing on screen that I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, he's pretty great.
He's
watching
so
Riff Raff, you won't think that. In Riff Raff, he's grittier.
Watch Bad Times at the El Royale. I keep telling my friend to watch this movie because she loves him, and she just
he's so precious. I said the moment that they panned to him was like, "How long have you been here?" He's like, "Oh, I've been here the whole time."
Yeah.
I've been here the whole time. When he said that, I looked at his face. I was like, "That's Bill Pullman's son." Like immediately, because he looks just like his daddy.
Yeah.
I said, "Oh."
If he's not in Spaceballs 2, I'm going to be really upset.
Listen,
that said, I am being told that we are way over time, so we need to cut it down and call it good. Law, what do you rate Top Gun Maverick?
7.
A 7 out of 10. Okay. That means you might watch it again. All right.
Yeah, I'll give it a go. Listen, everything y'all said, I was like, that's cool. Everything y'all said. Right?
Did you watch it on a big screen?
No.
You watch this on your phone?
No. It was like it's on a TV, it's on a flat screen. It's not the biggest, but it's not the smallest either. Like so, but everything y'all said, I was like, heck, shit, it is a beautiful film. I just felt like the story I wanted, I didn't get, so I was kind of disappointed. So I might want to rewatch. It might be different than a 7, but right now it's 7.
All right,
love it,
Brian.
I mean, what do you guys think I'm going to say?
I think you're going to say 10 because you said it's better than the first one.
It's
so
like
10. I already knew.
Yeah.
Let me say everybody's. Let me say everybody's.
Janine, what?
9.5.
What do you rate it?
No, 10.
Yeah, I was gonna say 10.
Wow.
I already know Cindy gonna say a 10. I already know Cindy gonna say a 10.
Well, hold on, I rated this movie already, so I want to look and see what I said because
11. I already know.
I think
I either said 100.
I think she's trying to guess what I was going to say. Yeah, it's like
that's hilarious.
I'm changing my review. I don't think I gave this as much credit as I deserve or as it deserved. So
that's why
I'm going back.
If the real study hasn't taught you guys anything, it is okay to revisit.
Right.
Yeah.
Revisit
Always,
a
yeah.
film
And reassess your
and
feelings.
reassess your
mean-
feelings of a film because it might change.
I was surprised how we were with Spaceballs. You know, like all of us were like,
Right? We're like, oh, this is not.
yeah. I was
Listen,
like, okay.
I thought Spaceballs was gonna be Top Gun, like real talk. Like I thought because
At
I
least
thought
you
y'all.
know Top Gun
I
is
thought
Top
the way that I didn't like Spaceballs that y'all was gonna be like this girl. We gotta get her off the pod because what?
No, but we were all like,
No,
But
not
now,
even
but now for
remotely.
Top Gun, y'all kind of want to boot me. But for Spaceballs, y'all was like, she ain't wrong. She ain't
No,
wrong.
yeah.
yeah.
No, and I love the variation.
Yeah,
So
no,
yeah,
it's
I think I'm gonna echo the 10. I rewatching it again because this is only my second time seeing it. It's
Now I gotta
so
go see what you reviewed.
well done.
before.
So
Yeah.
well, if I change it
No,
right
it is.
now, you'll never see. So I'm just gonna do that. And
Why
now
would
it's
you do
done.
that?
Oh, now
No,
you'll never
no,
know. All right.
Oh, another
we
thing I
still
want
have
to
the-
say
Oh yeah.
is like this film and the way they shot it got me more excited for F1, which is
Oh yeah, same
heck yeah.
director.
same director, same DP, I think, but they're using a lot of the same methods that they did for Maverick for F1. So
Well, that's gonna.
you're
be
really
awesome.
seeing Brad Pitt in that car,
Yeah.
basically. Like,
That's
yeah.
great.
So
I love
we're
it.
gonna watch Top Gun: Days of Thunder.
Yes, yeah.
Well,
Oh my
we could do
god,
Days of Thunder
It's
and
like-
F1 together.
That's
right? That would be
insane.
perfect, right? I
Yeah,
think that would be perfect.
He
Okay,
was
that's a
probably going
slated
through his-
episode.
he was probably going through
Kaczynski's
his
just following Tony
filmography.
Scott's like career right
Like
now.
Tom Cruise was
basically.
going through his filmography and was like, "What haven't I
Which
done?
ones?
Yeah, yeah,
these
exactly.
two.
I'm gonna
I
do
could
this
put
one.
these
Yep.
two together."
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so in July we're going to still be doing the Superman, Man of Steel debate, movie review, etc.
Yes.
But before that, we've got Wicked and Hairspray, and then now it sounds like we're going to be doing Days of Thunder and F1, but probably not this year because F1, of course, has not even come out yet. So we'll get to that when it does. That said, this has been episode 26 of season 4 of the Real Study. We appreciate you guys coming by and
Follow us
have a
everywhere, y'all.
Great evening.
Peace out.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.